is over. When you say you're feeling lonely, if you ever need a shoulder, you know where to find me. Stop chasing all the city lights. Breathe me in, go on and take your bite. Count on me to make you.
It's been about 6 weeks since that last happened, isn't it? I thought it was only the Valve games that broke Streamlabs. Yet, it seems to be the thing. Sometimes on some games, if I start streaming but I haven't launched the game yet, it just completely locks up my computer. The hard light. I don't really like resetting it when the hard drive light's obviously doing its little disco thing, so it's obviously processing something. But generally, if the numlock light doesn't flash, it means the computer's locked up completely. Right, what was I doing before Windows rudely interrupted me? Right, so we're on part 3 of Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars. I'm hoping everything is right. I don't have everything open that I would normally have open because I've just had to restart my computer in a rush. So fingers crossed this all goes alright. I think the sound is where it should be. If it is too loud or too quiet, just scream and I'll adjust it. But we left it. We had investigated the tripod, and that has led us to, well, we're going now to Ireland to visit a dig site. So I'll bring up the desktop audio. Hopefully this is coming through all right. Continue game. Alright, so we mustn't have gone to her apartment just yet. I'm just having to move my microphone up a little bit because I can't see the tiny little text at the top of the screen. I think that was her address. Yeah, back to the apartment.
Hi, I've been to the Crew Museum.
Did you speak to Labino?
No, he wasn't there.
Oh, is Royalty broke our phone as well? Or is the Wi-Fi in the office not cooperating?
I found the tripod.
Where?
In the museum. It belonged to the Templars. It was dug up in Ireland at a place called Loch Marn.
I have heard of Loch Marn. I read an article about the castle. Take a look for yourself.
A popular gossip magazine. You read that rubbish?
No, I write it.
Professor Nigel Pegram, excavating the medieval castle at Loch Marn. That's strange.
What?
He resigned his chair at Durham University in order to devote his time to the excavation. Not only that, but he cancelled the filming of a 4th series of his popular television program. This site at Loch Marn must be awful important to him.
He's a professor of history. They're all cuckoo.
All the same, I'd like to talk to this Professor Pegram. How do you feel about a trip to Ireland?
Disappointed.
Huh?
That I won't be going. I want to follow up the Bellotta case. If you really think Picram's gem is important, why don't you visit Loch Marn?
On my own? I'm not so sure about that. Where is Ireland exactly? I have to go.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Yeah, it looks like we're all having like disastrous technical problems tonight. Which is is audio coming through at all now? I can see the wiggly lines, but I have no way to check the feedback. I know the battery on my microphone was almost dead. We have the red light of death, which is flickering slowly. So if it goes completely silent, I do have a battery sitting here at the edge of my keyboard ready to swap it over. But I don't know if it's working because my monitor underneath me is just showing the spinning loading bit. So I don't know if I assume that the video's coming through all right. I'm gonna go with that it's working. So next we're gonna go to Ireland. So we exit the Paris map, and we will hop over here.
I passed the castle on the way into Loch Marne, the castle where Peagram's excavation was located.
I'm just going to try and refresh my monitor here, if I can reach over. Come on, laptop. Its CPU is grinding as well. There must be a Windows update out today, which is causing all the grief. So here we are, we're in Ireland, and we're going to go into the pub. With all the stereotypical audio we're about to go through. Accents.
Top of the morning to you.
I beg your pardon.
Well, that's what you Irish say, isn't it?
Do you want something? Or are you just flaunting your xenophobia?
Well, I was trying to be sociable.
Is it a room you're after?
No, thank you. I don't plan to stay too long.
Who does? Most folk take one look at Loch Marne and jump back on the bus.
Have you served any, clowns recently?
No. You're the first today.
Do you know a man called Peagram?
Indeed I do. Are you a friend of his, by any chance?
Oh, no. I'm just trying to track him down.
Me too. That son of a bitch should be locked away.
Did Peagram stay here?
Yes, he did. 6 nights plus breakfast.
I'll try a glass of beer, please.
Is this your first pint of real ale?
Well, I guess so. What's real ale, anyhow?
Beer that's
Warm with
brewed
bits
from
in it,
natural
yeah.
ingredients to traditional methods. It shouldn't be kept under pressure or refrigerated. And finally, it should have a good body and distinctive character.
In other words, it's flat and warm with bits in, and it makes you fall over.
Is yours working royalty? Because as much as I've refreshed my monitor, it's just not cooperating down there at all. I'll just have to assume that everything's going all right.
Do you recognize this man?
No, I don't. What do you want with him?
I've got a score to settle.
I don't want any trouble in the bar, mister. If it's a fight you're looking for, see Father Mahoney.
A priest? A man of the cloth?
Sure. And he teaches the boys how to box at the youth club. According to Mahoney, it develops character. Isn't that right, Pat? Didn't he teach you the art of pugilism? Dial.
Sorry, Michael. I was miles away. What did you say?
Never mind.
Look, I gotta be going. My name's George.
Pleased to meet you, mister. My name's Fitzgerald.
What can you tell me about the castle?
There's nothing there. Just an old ruin.
How old?
I really couldn't tell you.
Do you know Professor Peagram?
He's the archaeologist, isn't he?
That's right.
But does yours go like that as well, royalty? Because I know on my iPhone, it just seems like it completely just gives out. But if I turn the Wi-Fi on my phone off and on again for a couple of seconds, it just goes back on and starts working again.
Did you work at Professor Peagram's dig?
What gave you that idea?
Have you ever explored the castle yourself?
I used to play there sometimes, when I was a kid. Then one of the little uns fell off the wall, broke his head and died. We didn't go there anymore.
You haven't been up there recently?
No.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I'm sure I don't know him.
See you later.
Let's talk to these other drunks now.
Hi, my name's Stobbart, George Stobbart.
Hello there, mister. What can I do for you?
Do you know Professor Peagram?
Do I know him? Do I know the good professor himself? No, I don't. I mean,
I know who he is, but I don't know him to talk to.
Can you tell me anything about the castle on the hill?
Oh, I don't know much about anything. You should ask Mr. O'Brien here. He just joined up writing. Would you be one of them history fellows yourself?
That's right. Professor Stobbart, Miskatonic University.
You're an archaeologist, and you're asking us about the castle.
Excuse me, Mr. O'Brien. The gentleman was talking to me. How come you didn't leave with the others?
I didn't know they'd gone.
Oh, yes. Packed their spades and shovels and away they went.
Seems I missed all the excitement.
What excitement?
Do you know anything about Pegram's excavation?
Only that he didn't have the right tools for the job. What he needed was shovels and a JCB.
Pegram was digging for historical remains, not coal.
Is that a fact? What the hell for?
It's the science of archaeology, Pat. Understanding how people used to live by what they've left behind. One day archaeologists might be digging up our remains.
Imagine that, Mr. O'Brien. I wonder what they'll find.
Well, it won't be arrowheads and beakers. Fast food cartons and flavoured condoms, more likely.
Yeah, Rosie, I keep on telling you, you know, you can phone in sick. hide under the desk and phone in sick.
Did anyone from the village work at Pegram's dig?
I tried it myself, but that high and mighty history man called me incontinent. What a nerve. Hadn't I dug more holes than the rest of them put together?
Do you remember seeing Sean Fitzgerald at the dig?
Let me see now. I think me brain box needs a spot of lubrication.
Can I buy you a drink?
You most certainly can.
Give me a drink for my friend here.
Who? Doyle? Has he conned you into buying for him? Shame on you, Patrick. Same again.
Just a point this time, Michael.
1 point of brown coming up.
Do you remember Sean Fitzgerald now?
I can picture the scene as if it was only last week. Come to think of it, it was only last week. Fitzgerald was there all right. Him and a bunch of students. He was speaking with the boss man.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
It's a handsome mug on that fella, to be sure. Is he a film star?
I don't think there was any
Bye for
other
now.
options that we need to go through with him there. I do remember that we need this beer mat because obviously we can't ask for a glass, but that's to come up later.
It was a beer-stained piece of toweling.
We need his wire.
Hi there, old-timer.
What?
Nasty cold you've got there. As soon as the
It's like
words
me
left
sneezing.
my lips, I regretted them.
Is there such a thing as a cold which isn't nasty? I put the question to Father Mahoney. Father, says I, why were we born to suffer snot?
What did he say?
He said, it's my reward for being out all night like a sinner. Pious prig. Anyway, this is no ordinary cold. 'Tis the hay fever.
Pollinosis?
Thank you. You're not a policeman, are you?
Excuse me?
Police? No. I'd know it if you were.
You could make use of this tissue.
Never use them. Those things are unhygienic.
You wouldn't get away with that today.
What's that you're making?
It's a necklace, me bucko.
Oh, sure. Made out of steel wire?
That's right. A necklace for my pretty one. When my little lover feels it round her slender neck, she'll be mine. All mine.
Yeah, tis the hay fever.
Can you tell me how to get into the castle?
Don't even think about it, me bucko. Lochbarn Castle is haunted.
Ghosts don't bother me. I still want to visit that castle.
You can't. It's not open to the public.
There's no one around to stop me, is there?
That's right. Nothing human, anyhow.
I'll see you later.
Let's see if he puts down his wire. There we go.
As soon as the old guy looked away, I grabbed this piece of wire.
We'll head on outside now. And we're going to fiddle with the electricals box. At least that's always what I assumed it was.
Plastic cover, but it didn't move.
Oh no, we have to wait. Yeah, we need to have that other scene has to come up first, doesn't it?
Hi there.
What?
What's your name, kid?
Who are you calling kid? Who the hell are you?
I'm George Stobbart, and I'm with the good guys.
You're a head case, mister. A few sandwiches short of a picnic.
Cut the crap and tell me your name.
Liam McGuire.
What are you doing hanging around the bar, McGuire?
I'm on the run. From me dad.
Why? Did you do something bad?
I ain't done nothing, boss.
You can tell me, kid. Is it your dad?
Oh, sir. He drinks every last penny down his evil throat. And there's me poor old mother, bedridden and dying of presumption. I tried to buy her medicine. Chopped firewood for Father Mahoney till me fingers bled. The old skinflint cheated me too. But I took the pennies he gave me back home. Look, Ma, says I. See what your darling son has earned with his own sweat and blood. When suddenly, me dad appears and grabs the loot. I'm off to Dublin, heavy drinking, says he. Watch out till I get back. That's why I runned away.
Something in the grin on his face told me he wasn't being strictly truthful. Compared to him, Huckleberry Finn was a candidate for Altar Boy of the Year.
Yeah, royalty. There is some some of the dialogue in this is brilliant. The one of the ones that was in last week, which was technically the beginning of the game, I always liked was just after the explosion, and George goes out and the police officer holds up the gun to him, tells him to stop right there, and he goes, "I'm innocent. I'm an American." And then the copper says, "Can't make up your mind."
Do you know anything about Peagram's Dig?
He wouldn't let me anywhere near it. I offered to help, but he chased me off. I didn't want to see his smelly old hole anyhow.
What can you tell me about the castle, McGuire?
What do you want to know?
Well, can I get inside?
No, it's locked up.
Does anyone live there?
No. Only, what do you want to know? Oh, nothing.
You know something about the castle you're not telling me, don't you?
No.
What is it you're covering up? Is it something you're scared of?
I ain't scared of nothing.
Have you seen a guy dressed as a clown?
Here in Lochmarn, they all dress like clowns.
The man I'm looking for is a dangerous psychotic.
Jesus. It's just like that film I saw. There's this clown, see? And he's after this kid who saw him kill a guy. He tries to warn the sheriff, only no one believes him. Then, while he's in the tub, the clown cuts him up with a chainsaw.
My God, that doesn't sound suitable for a kid like you.
Who are you calling a kid? I'm 25.
Yeah, right. You're not a day over 14.
Oh no, it's 25 that I am. Married with a car and 3 kids. 10 kids if you count the wives.
Mouse has just got
Do you know
laggy
a
there.
man called Peagram?
Can you describe him like on the telly in the commercials?
He's an English archaeologist.
I know the man you mean if he's the one.
Yeah, it worked, Chrissy. Thank you for your subscription again there. But I'm just thinking as well, will the points reactivate for the multiplier though? Because didn't it take like a day or something last time for it to go through?
No, I can't, because he's not here now. But if I sees him, I'll ask him.
I'm just thinking, does that on the thing there? Does that grant you access to some of the other emotes that were on there? I can't remember now. It was that long ago when I set it up.
Do you know what Peagram was doing in the castle?
Digging for buried treasure. Jewels and gold and skeletons, like in the films.
Have you ever seen this man before?
What a slimy character. No, I never seed him.
I'm gonna have to go back through the settings because I'm sure there was more to unlock. But like, if they've changed the multiply, maybe they've changed all those as well. Are you redeeming the 8s? That was from the 8 game yesterday.
Do you know anything about Peagram's Dig?
He wouldn't let me anywhere near it.
Can be
I offered to
redeemed
help.
8 times during the
Chased me
stream.
off. I didn't want to see his smelly old hole anyhow.
I'll give you one last chance to tell me about the castle.
Oh, yeah? And what if I don't?
Then I'm taking you back to school.
Oh, there's a ghost. It's called the Phantom o' Loch Man.
You're not telling me you believe in ghosts, are you?
Mister, I seen it with me very own eyes. Last Tuesday night, I went up to see what that dig was about. I just reached the top of the wall when I hears this awful noise.
What sort of noise?
A horrible snuffling and snorting, like O'Brien's pig, only worst. It was coming from inside the castle.
It's George Stobbart's nemesis is what's waiting for him in the castle. But yeah, the 8 thing, yeah, I rigged it yesterday so it activated when we got to the groundbreaking technology of the 8 game. I think we've missed a dialogue option somewhere of one of the other characters as well. We'll have to go back to the fella in the middle, because we need him to get run over.
Mr. Fitzgerald? Doyle told me you definitely worked at the dig. He's seen you there. You might as well admit it.
Oh, we must have got the dialogue option there, I just missed it.
I'd get caught.
I need to talk to Professor Pegram, if he's still alive.
What do you mean? Is he in danger?
Yeah, you too, if I'm right.
You're not from the Social Security.
Hell no. What makes you think that?
Well, I was claiming benefit at the same time I was working for Pegram.
I'm not in a position to make judgments, Sean. That's between you and your conscience. All I want is to talk to Pegram about the gem.
But he's not here.
I know that. But he left that package with you, didn't he? So where did Pegram go?
I don't know. I swear it. He came to see me early this morning. Said he was leaving. He asked me to give this package to a guy called Marquet.
What's that there? Oh, you're sticking us in your pocket whilst you're getting back to work.
Show me what's in the package, Sean.
I can't do that.
Why not?
I promised the professor.
So what? You didn't have any qualms about your benefit scam. So where's the harm in taking a peek inside Pegram's package?
You don't know these people. I can't. I don't dare.
This is your last chance to show me the package, Fitzgerald. I've been patient with you, but now it's time to kick ass.
But he'll kill me.
Who will?
The man from Paris. Jack Marquet. Pegram told me if I gave him the package unopened, I'd hear no more about it. But if I double-crossed Marquet, I'd be dead.
I'll deal with Jacques Marquet. Give the package to me.
No. Why should I trust you? I don't know who to trust anymore. I wish I'd never even heard of the Lochmarn gem. Hey, I just seen a big red...
Get out of here, Maguire. Come back when you're old enough.
What's the lad howling about?
A big red sports car. Sean Fitzgerald's been runned over.
Get out! Noisy little tyke.
Maybe you should send out some medicinal brandy maker.
Oh, yes. And who's going to pay for it?
Not me.
Me too, neither.
I was telling the truth about Fitzy, mister.
Okay, calm down. Now tell me what happened.
I was standing here, minding me own business, when I saw this beautiful red sports car coming up over the hill. Would you look at that, says I, and I going over to take a closer look. Next thing, Fitzy comes tearing out of the pub and nearly knocks me on my ass, but the car just flies at him. It was too fast for poor old Fitzy, and hit him an awful wallop. He goes flying up on top. Jesus, says I thought he was a goner. Next thing, the driver hops out, and I couldn't believe my eyes. He was dressed like a bloody pixie.
And that was the Beaver costume from last week, wasn't it?
Hey, McGuire,
What?
did Fitzgerald drop anything when he was hit?
I didn't see. It all happened so fast.
Maybe the package fell somewhere out of sight. Did this pixie have a scar on his cheek?
I couldn't see. He was wearing a stupid mask. Are you a special agent?
Sorry to disappoint you, kid, but I'm not. See you later.
Yeah,
kid.
yeah,
Okay,
the
mister.
costume that he got, because he had the clown one, wasn't it? That was the first one. And the mime costume as well.
I pushed the switch down, but in doing so it snapped off in my hand.
Let's go talk to the barman, because we need to break his electrics.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir?
may I have another beer, please?
Certainly, sir. Same again?
Yeah, please. How is this stuff made?
That's the secret of the master brewer, sir. Each barrel is lovingly manhandled in time-honored fashion, suspended on skillfully tied ropes of the finest hemp, lowered into the cellar, utilizing the forces of original gravity, like manna from heaven. I'm sorry, but the pump appears to be broken.
I could fix it for you.
I don't think so. This is a job for a professional electrician. Oh well, at least the glass washer is still working. It's not my dear, is it?
We have the card from the killer.
It just so happens I'm an electrician. Check out my credentials.
Well, no. Isn't that marvellous? Here's a house bedeviled with faulty wiring of a wayward nature. Here's you, an electric man, with a little plastic card to prove it. I still want to see what you can do before I let you touch me beer pumps. You can make a start on the glass washer. When you finish that, will you take a look at the pumps?
Now, if you remember, we got his electrical wire, and we're going to use that to replace the fuse.
I used all my knowledge of electrical engineering to examine the plug.
How do you open your inventory again? There it is.
I replaced the fuse with a piece of wire. I knew it was dangerous, but I was desperate enough to disregard everything I knew about standard safety precautions. Excuse me, Mr. Leary. I fixed your glass washer, no problem.
Bingo! And a blessing to all the saints. A free half pint to that man, on the house. Now, could you take a look at the beer pumps?
Well, I guess so, but I'm not making any promises.
If you can't fix them, I'll have a riot on me hands.
The pumps are in the cellar, right?
That's right. You'll find a flashlight down there somewhere.
Only a half pint for doing the job.
I pushed the lever and heard the grating of metal, but nothing appeared to happen.
And we'll nip back outside.
I lifted the trap door, and an overpowering smell of stale beer rose from the cellar below. I looked down on a stone-tiled floor, way too far to jump.
Excuse me.
There was a nasty feeling in my guts I usually associated with light opera. It was Khan. What's the problem?
Did you see what happened here a few minutes ago?
What was that?
A man was involved in an unfortunate accident.
I didn't see anything.
What about the boy?
He doesn't know anything either. The kid, well, you know how it is in these rural communities. Not enough genes to go round. I prayed McGuire had the sense to keep his mouth shut. Was the guy hurt bad?
He's been taken care of, but he thinks he dropped a small parcel. You didn't happen to find it, did you?
If I had, I would have taken it to the police.
Of course. Thank you.
And away he goes.
Now I could see. I spotted Mr. Leary's flashlight easily. Then I noticed a flash of light. Something sparkling beneath the open trap door. It was Peagram's gem, all right. A large, uncut blue stone. I guess I was already under its spell.
Did you find it?
What?
Whatever you was looking for.
Yeah. Listen, McGuire, I want you to keep this to yourself.
No problemo. Just chuck us up a crate of lager.
No way, you're not old enough.
We can sell it and make some cash.
Forget it, kid. I couldn't betray Mr. Leary's trust.
I could, for sure. That old misery guts deserves it.
If you want to do me a favor, keep a lookout for that guy in the suit.
Okay. But it'll cost you a packet of chips.
Oh, and shout if you see that Ferrari.
I used to use that line when I used to work at the hotel with the managers and the other staff. Used to say, tell them if they do my shift for us and let me go home, that I'd buy them a bag of chips.
Hi, do you speak English?
Well, no, what if I was to say no? An implication of cognizance shrouded in denial. A pretty poser of a paradox indeed.
I gave him the look I'd perfected when I was 12 and was going to be the greatest hypnotist of all time. It was a killer.
Are you attempting to hypnotize me, or is it the constipation you're suffering?
I was a little out of practice.
Yeah, definitely go for a bag of chips. I used to like the ones at the waterfront in North Shields. It was right on the fish quay, where the fish would come in.
Did you happen to see a red sports car down on the road?
I caught a glimpse of a flash of red on the hill and heard the racket. Sure, it was an awful noise. A sports car, you say?
A Ferrari, to be exact.
A racing car? And what was it doing here? The poor fella must have been lost.
Welcome back, royalty. I can't remember which part it was. Definitely, we've got the gem now, and what was his name? Fitzpatrick's been run over.
What can you tell me about the castle?
Not much, I'm sorry to say. Most of its history is long forgotten. But if these old stones could only speak, what stories...
Oh, and Chrissy's going to get us all a bag of chips each as well.
And your blood run cold. You know, this castle is said to be over 600 years old.
Have you seen Professor Pegram?
No, he's packed up and gone.
Do you happen to know where?
Back in England, I suppose.
It's always the same, isn't it, Chrissy? There was an Italian restaurant in Whitley Bay that I used to love going to. Then it got under new management, and it turned out from being like a really little sort of nice, a nice, really high quality restaurant, just to being, like cheap 3663 stuff that was coming in.
The driver of the Ferrari was involved in an accident.
Is that so?
Yeah, he knocked somebody down outside the bar.
What an idiot! How could a thing like that happen?
He was traveling too fast.
So fast, he ran right under the car?
I mean, the car was traveling too fast.
But you'd have thought the idiot could have heard it coming.
Maybe you know the guy who was hit by the Ferrari. His name is Sean Fitzgerald.
Oh, I know him all right. That's me nephew, the idiot responsible for the stacking of my hay cart. Was he killed by the car?
Oh, no, but he has been abducted.
Well, that's a relief now.
Aren't you going to look for your nephew?
What for? From what you say, it's too late.
Well, you could report the matter to the police.
Better not. Besides, what could they do?
Well, they could mount a search.
They have only the one bicycle between them. In a question of superior acceleration, I put me money on the Ferrari.
I think you ought to know exactly what Sean has gotten himself into.
I'm not sure I want to know.
But you're his uncle. His own flesh and blood.
You're right, but what can I do? If I'm not here to guard it, some idiot might try to climb the haystack. What a moral dilemma. Stay here and guard this potentially lethal agricultural construction, or to go off in search of the prodigal nephew, the very man responsible for said hazard? It'll need some thinking about.
Why, there's no problem.
You're right. Why didn't I think of it before? We'll demolish the haystack.
You don't have to demolish the haystack to go look for Sean. I'll stay here in your place and warn anyone who's silly enough to climb it.
Marvellous! I think I should start me inquiries in the bar.
Sounds like the place to start his inquiries there,
Strode
doesn't
off
it?
in the direction of McDevitt's bar, leaving me to contemplate the stack of hay.
Next we meet Stobbart's nemesis.
Even if I stretched as far as I could, the wall was out of reach. What I needed was a slice or two of Alice's Wonderland.
How on earth did they manage to stack all this on a cart like that?
I inserted the end of the lifting key in the mortarless crack and gave it a firm shove. It remained lodged in the wall, jutting out to form a step.
He is the goat. Doesn't really look like it's got a goat's face. I don't know how it's coming through for you guys on the stream. Let's restrain it.
The rope by which the goat was tethered had become tangled on the old plowshare.
There we go, we got it. Yeah, the face doesn't look anything like a goat there, does it? But back in the day, you wouldn't be able to see that anywhere near. I think I've shown you the resolution of this game before, haven't I? Screen resolution. Original. Oh, hang on, that's gone right off the screen. This is the tiny little window that we're blowing up there to play this game. So this would be on your normal, your old, like massive, like fishbowl, like TV in the 90s. Hey, well, though, we will save it here whilst we're on this menu. Right, so I'm going to take up this stuff here because we'll need the plaster in a moment.
As I dipped my fingers into the soft white powder, I realized what it was. Plaster of Paris. I'd used it in kindergarten to make casts of animal paw prints. The statue was too heavy to lift. It overbalanced into the sand.
Stand it back up again.
As I swung the stone upright, I noticed it had left a pattern of holes in the sand.
There we go, so that impression there is the key. So we're going to stick, oops, a plaster in there, And this is why we needed the manky
I
old
sprinkled the
beer
plaster on the sand until the holes
towel.
were filled.
Because George is too stupid to ask for a glass of water.
I placed my fingers and thumb into the holes in the wall. Nothing happened.
Right, now we have to trek all the way back to the bar, and this particular bit on the original PlayStation was a pain, because if you didn't move the cursor across with the controller, which was really slow, if you didn't get it back in time, the cloth dried out. So we will get the beer towel thing.
The slow drip of water barely dampened the towel. The faucet creaked, coughed, and spewed out a stream of rusty-colored water.
There we go.
I held the towel under the faucet and soaked it with water.
We'll just leave the tap on down there, it'll be fine. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong, Chrissy? And we will take the wet towel because it would be too easy just to ask for a glass.
Was quickly absorbed by the plaster. I eased the solid piece of plaster from the sand. Underneath, it had formed a perfect copy of the statue.
And then I think there's a cutscene.
The hardened plaster cast fitted snugly into the 5 matching sockets. There was a soft thud, then silence.
Oh, right, we're back in the director's cut thing. And I'm just spotting as well that not all of the chat has been coming through because there's a difference between what I'm reading on Restream and what I'm reading on Streamlabs. So I've missed some bits and bobs people have you've put in there.
I had messages waiting to be played.
You have 3 messages.
Hey, Collard, it's me, your favorite editor. Guess what? I'm gonna give you a second chance. I need somebody to write the TV column. Pays lousy, so what's new? If you're interested, drop by the office. In fact, drop by the office anyway. We have to talk, Nico. That story of yours I spiked. It won't go away. You've made some dangerous enemies out there.
Hey, Nico, it's your old pal. I mean, your new pal, George. Whoa, Ireland. It's a whole different country. And I got some amazing news for you. Gem of a story, in fact. Oh, gotta go. Yeah, fella here's got a drink lined up for me. See you tomorrow, Nico. Sláinte. Yep, only here for a day and I'm speaking the lingo like a local.
Mademoiselle Collard, this is Imelda Carchon. I wanted to thank you for being so understanding when... Come to lunch, why don't you? Tomorrow. I might have more news. There's a Monsieur Merlon coming to see me this evening. He says he knows why Pierre was murdered. In fact, he'll be here shortly. I shall let you know what he says. Goodbye, dear girl. Till tomorrow.
Merlin? Oh my God. Merlin's the killer. I'd better get over there and warn her now. When it came to being two-faced, Imelda was up there with the best. I owed her nothing, but I couldn't just let her die. I arrived to find the Palais Royal courtyard deserted. I only hoped that I'd beaten the assassin here. I had to warn Imelda before it was too late.
Yep, it's a trap. I'll add as well, because of course we're playing the director's cut version. We're now in scenes that I've never played before. The Ireland one, you know, that one's from the original 90s PlayStation. I know like those bits are able to fly through those puzzles. But one thing is, I'm just thinking with the director's cut ones, when is the next spelling quiz going to start?
Somebody had cut the wire. Locked? No way was I going to break through a door like that.
The minute I'm just looking for these little blue marker things that are like flash up on like action points where we can click. Assume that we're going to climb this up and go through the window that the killer came through before.
I unhooked the first wire.
Oh, you like the spelling quiz ones, Royalty? That first one took absolutely ages, but the second one we did last week...
I released the second wire. Even with both
we got through that in no time.
The statue remained upright.
So I assume we're using this weird statue as a ladder. Good.
If I could deconstruct this, I could deconstruct anything. The plastic sheet was thick and strong. I'd need more than my hands to tear it.
What have we got in our inventory that's sharp?
No.
Nope. Stick a key through the hole?
No.
Bullet? Yes. Here we are back from the beginning. Nope. Was this open, or do we have to still have the key on us?
My God, I'm too late. Imelda. Oh no.
Nico?
Don't worry, you're going to be all right.
You know that isn't true.
It was Merlin, wasn't it?
Dressed as a cavalier. How absurd. You came to warn me, didn't you?
I must be crazy.
Let me see you, Nico.
All this time you were just using me. Which one is the real Imelda?
You are an extraordinary girl. Thierry would have been so proud of you.
You didn't know my father.
So like him. Something about the eyes. I wish we'd had time to get to know each other.
She was gone. She cheated me, lied to me, used me. But why?
We'll poke around in the corpse as we do.
Even in death, Imelda looked the same. Beautiful, inscrutable. The Ice Queen alone in her ice palace. I opened it. Inside was a tiny gold key. I took the key. I had to leave. I knew I could never return.
Oh, we're back to the apartment.
There wasn't anyone that I needed to call.
Oh, hang on. There's a new point to click on.
In the dim light, I caught the reflection of something metallic. A small, sinister-looking metal disc had been tucked under my father's box. It was a bug. Oh, chère cousine, you left me a little present. You shouldn't have. You don't scare me. Espèce de...
I think that's because she got the carved one, didn't she, from the desk at the very beginning as well.
The box was carved by my father. It never had a key. The elephant on the lid was a perfect match to Cochon's.
What are we betting? The little gold key fits
I
in
took
there.
out the key. I couldn't believe it. Imelda's key opened my father's box. I dreaded what I was going to find inside.
That matches up with the picture that we've
It was a photograph
been assembling.
of Imelda. But why here? In my father's box? I felt as if a black hole had swallowed me up. Imelda and Cochon grinning. While behind them a village was being razed to the ground. Its people butchered. And there, next to them, staring out at me across the years, my own father. There was a letter. I feared there was even worse to come.
Do you think she might be her mum, maybe?
Hotel St. George, Algiers, Friday. My darling Thierry, by the time you read this, you'll be safely out of Africa. You need not fear. Pierre and the organization do not know who you're really working for, or about us. Did you think I would betray you? I could not. You wanted me to leave him, but I don't have your courage. I know too much of what has been going on here. They would find me and they would kill us both. Enjoy your life in Paris, Thierry. Your life of honor, of patriotic duty. Do they give medals to spies? No, they'll just give you a phony job in an embassy somewhere. I could never share that with you. Imagine me, a diplomat's wife. So I must stay here with Pierre, the two of us bound together by what we have done to this country. Au revoir, my love. You will be in my heart until I die. Imelda. Suddenly everything made sense. My father had been working undercover for the government. He was one of the good guys after all.
Yeah, Rota, it might be the big
He
plot
and
twist
Imelda
of the
must have
director's
fallen
cut
in love.
version.
She'd found out who he really was, so he had to leave. It had broken her heart, but she had never revealed it to anyone. I knew I couldn't either. Whatever he was doing, he'd had good reason to keep it secret. I decided I would respect that and tell nobody.
The next morning.
I knew it was George. For a moment I was tempted to pretend that I was out, or ask him to go away and come back later. But then... Come in.
Hello, George.
I take it now we're back in the PlayStation version.
So, where did you stay last night?
At McDevitt's. I got to drinking with Doyle and a couple of the guys.
That explains why you look so ill today. Did you get any sleep at all?
Not much. I had to share the room with another guy.
Did he snore?
Hardly. He was dead. Then Leary woke me in the middle of the night to help bail out the cellar.
The cellar was flooded?
Yeah, some idiot had left the faucet running.
And you say Pegram has disappeared?
Without a trace. But my visit wasn't a complete waste of time.
Pegram's gem?
The Templars' gem. Whoever Jacques Marquet is, he's in for a disappointment.
Jacques Marquet?
He's the guy who should have collected the gem from Fitzgerald.
What are your plans?
I want to find out who, what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man. Let's take another look at the manuscript. There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod. A knight with a crystal ball. The knight scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces. There's a guy working on a loom.
Look there, 2 guys on the same horse. What are your plans?
I want to find out who, what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man. Do you want this photograph back?
No, you keep it. I can always make another print.
Do you want to look after the gem?
No, George. I'd be too tempted to sell it.
I can't sit here all day, much as I'd like to.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lobinot at the Kron Museum. And why don't you see if Rosso has heard anything?
Okay. Anything else I can do for you while I'm out? Shopping, a trip to the laundromat?
Just take care of yourself.
I think the original audio, I don't like how it sounds like for you guys, but it sounds like it was all recorded in a bathroom, and then the director's cut stuff is all...
I so much wanted to talk to George about everything that had happened, but I knew I never could. My father's connection to Africa would have to remain a secret forever. His bravery would be known only to the government, and to me. Revealing it would just damage his memory. People would take the story and twist it. Before long, he would be the villain and Carchon would be the hero. I know how they do that. I'm a journalist.
So, she said to go to the police station, bloke. If I can figure out... There it is, police station.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
Do you know a man named Khan? He's a shifty-looking guy with a scar on his left cheek.
No, monsieur.
He also calls himself Thomas Merlin.
I'm sorry, Monsieur Stobbart. I don't know him. Has this man any connection with the bombing of the cafe?
Yes. I believe Khan was the name he used when he hired the clown costume. Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur.
It's the guy who bombed the cafe. The clown.
This man looks nothing like a clown?
He's taken off his grease paint and costume.
Then there is nothing to link this man with the killing.
Nothing? Look at those murderous eyes.
Hardly likely to get him convicted.
I was one of the last people to see the victim alive, Sergeant.
Does that worry you?
Yes, it does. I feel I owe it to him to find his killer.
That is best left to the authorities, monsieur. Did he speak to you? Tell you anything?
No, he just grinned and nodded.
Don't let it trouble you, monsieur. Go home and try to forget.
Have you heard of a man called Marquet?
Yes. He used to be known as the Mole of Montmartre. I heard he's been hospitalized, probably by one of his rivals.
Yeah, open the shut case there, royalty. Ooh, the mouse keeps on lagging out.
Which hospital was Marquet taken to?
The Hagenmeyer Clinic. In the Avenue des Hérissons.
Why was Marquet known as the Mole of Montmartre?
Because he lived in Montmartre, I suppose.
Yeah, but why the mole?
I don't know. Maybe he ruined people's lawns.
High crimes, the lawn. My mouse keeps on going funny again here.
I know.
Oh, the computer's not going to crash again.
Is that so? You knew him, did you?
No, but...
We'll know everything there is to know about him soon enough.
I'm trying to be helpful here.
The best way you can help us is to go home, monsieur.
See you later, Sergeant.
We have a museum and a hospital to visit.
I felt a little guilty as I tried the door, like I was about to rob a grave. I gripped the handle with an involuntary tremble in my hand and pulled. The door was locked. Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
Is this the Hagenmeyer Clinic?
That's correct.
I thought I was in a garden center.
Oh, the plans. They were my idea. A little greenery to evoke the spirit of nature. How may I help you?
I'm here to see Jacques Marquet.
Oh, yes. Are you related to our client, sir?
Yeah, I'm his, long-lost brother.
A brother half his age with a different name and an American accent.
Yeah, people always say that. I blame Mom. We were separated at an early age, after a mix-up in the nursery at the Oakland shopping mall.
I've never heard anything so ridiculous in all my life.
I guess not. Look at this ID pass.
So you're Merlin. Marquet's been asking for you.
For me?
Yes. He was shouting your name when they brought him in here. Now, let me see. He was on Ward B12, as I recall. Oh, he's being transferred to... Oh, dear. He's on Ward J2. That's Nurse Grendel's ward.
What's so bad about Nurse Grendel?
She runs that ward like a South American prison.
Keeping a well-disciplined ward isn't a crime, is it?
Well-disciplined. In the discipline and punishment stakes, she'd whip the butt off the Marquis de Sade. Everything, I mean everything, is done to a strict routine. 6 o'clock alarm call, 6:10 bowel movements, and woe betide anyone who doesn't have a result. Those patients of hers are like Pavlova's dogs.
She sounds like a real nightmare.
And then some.
Thanks for your help, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Let's head down to the ward.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
If Nurse Grendel is that bad, how come the authorities tolerate her?
She's like part of the furniture.
I was beginning to get the picture. This woman was jealous, with a big green capital J. How do I find Nurse Grendel's ward?
Down the corridor on the left, turn right at the senior consultant's washroom. Right again at the executive coffee lounge. Bear left past the administrator's sauna. And turn left at the end. That's J2. And good luck.
The administrative sauna.
Thanks for your help, ma'am.
What sort of hospital is this? Sure, the writers were just making random stuff up for a laugh.
I saw the source of the hellish noise which echoed through the corridors. It was an industrial polishing machine with an odd-looking guy in tow.
pull the plug out.
The connector in the socket supplied electricity to the polishing machine. The connector in the socket supplied electricity to the polishing machine.
Oh, can we not unplug it yet? Alright, we must have to go through some more dialogue first. Trying to skip ahead.
Oui, monsieur?
Is this Ward J2?
It is, but you're not supposed to be here. We have strict rules about visiting hours.
Can't you make an exception? I've come all the way from California.
You must speak to the doctor.
I can't wait that long. What if he snuffs it?
You can't talk like that here. This is a hospital. You will have to leave.
Hello.
What's that?
I said hello.
Oh, hiya.
I'd like to talk to you for a minute.
That's what I thought you said. Don't look so down in the mouth. No matter how bad things seem, I never let life get on top of me.
Oh, yeah? What's your secret?
Why, it's easy. All you have to do is smile and whistle this little tune.
You know what? If you start whistling, I'll bust you in the teeth.
It's a deal.
His French accent is just amazing for working in a French hospital. Yeah, they are amazing, the accents in this. I don't know if you would get away with it today.
Do you know where I'd find a patient called Marquet?
No, I'm not allowed on the wards with Mr. Shiny.
Have you seen any unsavory characters lurking about in the quarters?
No, sir, I haven't, but I've got nothing to worry about. What's that, Mr. Shiny? You'd take good care of the rascals, I'll bet you would. With a friend like him, I've no fear of oppressors.
It must be a great comfort.
He is.
Would Mr. Shiny be your polishing machine by any chance?
Please, don't call him that. He's more of a friend than a machine. I've had Mr. Shiny for 3 years, and he's never let me down once.
I think he's done something inappropriate with Mr. Shiny.
How come you got so attached to a polishing machine?
I asked you not to call him that. He's got a name, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Shiny. It's just that...
You think it's odd, don't you? I don't mind. The rest of the staff think I'm twisted. I heard them snorking behind me back when I gave Mr. Shiny his weekly pull-through.
His weekly pull-through?
What's the problem with Nurse Grendel?
She's uptight and twisted on account of a broken heart.
Oh, that's too bad. I thought she was just plain bad-tempered.
That also. By the way, sir, I wouldn't stand too close to Mr. Shiny's grease valve. If he has an emission, it'll take the shine clean off your shoes. Say, nice sneakers.
Thanks.
And now there's stuff coming out of his grease valve.
See you later.
Yeah, take care now. Hey now, you can't go in there.
How come?
I'm responsible for the contents of that cupboard.
Now, hopefully it'll let us pull the plug this time.
As I tugged the plug out of the socket, the polishing machine coughed, spluttered, and died.
Mr. Shiny, what's wrong, pal?
I know, poor Mr. Shiny. I don't know why it doesn't let us click through it to open the door and get the doctor's thing. Of course, his jacket instantly becomes only like 1 atom thick underneath that. The doctor's thingamajiggy, whatever it's called. The words just completely escaped me.
The patients are ready for your inspection, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse.
You'll need this, Doctor.
She gave me a long, narrow metal box and a stunning smile. Thanks.
Could you take a look at the client in bed number 3 now? His name is Eric Sopmarsh.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Doctor!
What is it?
Yeah, they've all got English regional accents, even the patients. And all the French accents are like the 100% like stereotypical sort of
Seems fine
ones.
to me.
You're not doing it right.
Of course I am.
No, you're not. Dr. Monroe never did it like that.
I can't take a satisfactory reading while you're excited like this. I'll come back later.
Has anyone seen this as well? I mean, how is this coming through on your screen? This guy's here, his torso is one with the mattress, and then all of a sudden, his legs stick out like that. But he's completely flat there. Yeah, English is the only language royalty. All the other ones, they're just making it up.
Hi, my name's George Stobbart.
Aha! Just the man. You must be the new boy.
Yeah, I must be.
Well, stop wandering about and make yourself useful. Bernie, come here, boy. This is Benoit, my nephew. Can I trust you to look after him? He is fresh out of medical school. It will open his eyes to see a real doctor on the job.
I'll bet.
Show him around. Let him see some real suffering.
Right, let's head back through here. Because we can't get past the guy with the mystery legs. Until we've taken his blood pressure.
Maybe not. Hi, my name's George Stobbart.
Yes, sir?
So what's your name, kid?
Benoit. They call me Bunny.
Bunny? Jeez, and you don't mind?
Oh, I've gotten used to it.
Okay, Benoit, you're gonna help me.
Anything you say, sir.
Here, take this pressure gauge.
Thank you, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, keep it safe until I think of something. Do you know anything about a patient named Marquet?
No, sir, I don't know much about any of the patients.
I've never met a doctor who admits that he's only human.
I'm only a trainee, sir. I'm sure I'll get the hang of things.
Well, you see the change of the coat. You see, it works on the same logic with children, whereby if you cover their eyes up and suddenly you've vanished. So by changing costume, it becomes a completely new person.
Follow me, Benoit.
I'm right behind you, sir.
Hello? Anybody home?
Who are you?
My name is Dr. Stobbart, and
Yep,
I'm
magic.
here to steer you down the rocky road to recovery.
Dr. Monroe said there was no cure for what I've got.
Your problem is you stayed in bed too long.
Are you sure you're a qualified doctor?
You better believe it. What can you tell me about Marquet?
He's the man in the private room, isn't he? That room was mine before I was tossed out like a common squatter.
I'll come back later.
You need to trigger him to give him a blood
You haven't finished taking my blood pressure.
Will you keep quiet? You're disturbing the other patients.
I'll keep quiet when you've taken my blood pressure properly.
I have to see Jacques Marquet first.
How come he gets preferential treatment? It's because he's got money, isn't it?
I'll come back when you've dealt with that chip on your shoulder. Hey, Benoit!
Yes, sir?
Do you still
Here
have
we
that
go.
gauge I gave you?
Ah, yes. What do you want me to do with it?
Clean answers.
Use it on Eric Sopmarsh.
Okay.
I thought the game had crashed there again.
Rather you than me, pal.
You can only think of a few ways, royalty.
Bonjour, doctor.
Have you heard of a guy called Marquet?
He's in quarantine, doc. Right behind this here door.
Marquet is just the man I wanted to see.
I wouldn't go in there if I was you. He has anthrax.
Catch you later, officer.
Au revoir, doc.
Oh, he's levitating inside of the door. And he's shrunk.
Marquet?
Yes, I am Marquet. I've been expecting you.
You have?
Well, what are you waiting for? Get it over with.
I just want to know what I should do with the gem.
The Lachmar gem.
Yeah, right here in my pocket.
And he's not even wearing a mask, royalty.
One of the assassins.
Not me. I never inhaled.
So, you were sent in my place?
Yeah. You could hardly make the trip to Ireland in your condition. What should I do with the gem?
Deliver it to the Grandmaster. Quickly tell him that I have found the tripod right here in Paris.
What, you have it?
Not yet, but it's being taken care of. I hired a couple of stooges with a flair for petty crime.
Would that be Flap and Guido by any chance?
You know them as for Klausner. He has gone off to Syria on a wild goose chase.
They have geese in Syria?
He has a theory about the location of the...
Yeah, the picture on the bottom looks like he's been fed through a wood chipper. Whereas he's just got a black eye on the top.
Excitement for one day, Monsieur Marquet. What are you doing here?
Talking to this patient, of course.
Monsieur Marquet is my patient. If Herr Hagenmeyer was to hear that...
Okay, I'm going. I'd learned all I could from Marquet anyhow.
Ah, there you are, sir. I was just coming to look for you. I finished with your pressure gauge.
Thanks, Bunny.
What's that noise? It sounds as if someone's having a cardiac arrest.
It's all right. The doctor's in there with him.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Oui, monsieur. He showed me his ID. It was Dr. Braille.
There's no Dr. Braille working here.
He's an imposter.
So are you.
The door's locked. Help me, officer.
Stand back, monsieur.
Hello, George.
Too late. Just thinking about when I was saying wood chipper there's another movie that what the hell is it called? Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Have you guys watched that one? Because that is a brilliant movie.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Oh, I didn't mean to click on that button.
There's a woman, but
You're going to go for each of these dialogue before it lets you out.
I found Jacques Marquet.
Did he talk?
Yeah, he talked. For the very last time.
He's dead.
Yeah, killed in cold blood by a bogus doctor.
That's despicable. What kind of guy would pass himself off as a doctor and take advantage of a dying man? Was it Khan?
No, I don't know who he was, but it certainly wasn't Khan. He got away, out the window.
Yeah, the officer was absolutely useless because he never checked us for ID and let us straight in there, didn't he?
Have you ever heard of the Hashi-Ashin?
No.
Marquet said that they were his biggest enemy.
His biggest enemy was the bogus doctor.
Don't remind me. That guy was evil. He had wild, staring eyes like a dead fish. I'll never trust a doctor again. Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd introduced themselves.
Whenever I hear the word sedative, I always hear sedative from another movie which you guys have to watch, Mel Brooks's masterpiece, Young Frankenstein.
I guess I'd better go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one, Rousseau or Sergeant Mou? Oh, but you're referring to Andre.
I'll let you work it out.
So next is the museum again.
I beg your pardon. Are you Andre Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No. I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobbart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure. It was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn? That's where Pegram was digging.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived. I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochmarn tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you.
The sort of tripod and the gem sort of scenario, it's you must have seen the first Indiana Jones movie.
Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I
Or is in the map room?
I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
That's the thing as well with the Indiana Jones movies. You've got the the first one, and then you've got the second one, the Temple of Doom. That was the second one made, but in the actual year they're meant to be in, Temple of Doom is first.
Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes. It was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language. Assassini, the assassins.
Might have to watch through the Indiana Jones films again, because it's been quite a while since I last watched those. I've got the idea in my head now.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much. Only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
Oh, have you not seen the... if I get my words out today, you've not seen the Indiana Jones films? Much like Die Hard, which I hope you've seen, the first three films are the only true films. That last one they did wasn't an Indiana Jones film, it was a film with Indiana Jones in it. Much like the Die Hard movies, because what, they made like 200 of those now or something? The first three are the only Die Hard movies. The other dozen or so are just movies that happen to have John McClane in them.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah. Not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman. Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez. Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legend surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
Well, Roti, we're going to have to set you some homework of some movies from across all the different eras and styles for you to watch.
This friend who has the manuscript?
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
She lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
He sounds really creepy, doesn't he?
How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Now, is that enough dialogue options, or is there something else we've missed? Nope, I think we've managed it. So he's going to hide in that sarcophagus
It is closing time, Monsieur Lobineau.
to get the tripod.
Already, there just aren't enough hours in the day.
More than enough for me. I can't wait to get home and put my feet up.
Eh bien, see you tomorrow.
Good night.
Isn't the guy doing the guard's voice there the same guy that was the guard at the hotel when we came up out of the sewers? The exact same accent as well.
Quit fooling around, you moron! Get your ass over here and bring that flashlight. What the... Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
And when I woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor Georges.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
I don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in costume.
You mean it was you who stole the tripod? Oh, hell, Nico. I could have been shot.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own feet.
I just wish you'd told me your plans. We're supposed to be in this together. And how come you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats. And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
I've clicked on it again. You can't escape unless you cycle through all of these dialogues. Ah, there we go.
Oh, by the way, I had a visit from André Lobineau.
Oh, yeah. I hope you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Not at all. It was lovely to see him again. He was over the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bear that crest.
I sure hope so.
I don't think there's any other dialogue options.
Better get back to the quest.
He just swipes that tripod and sticks it in his pocket. Right, this looks like a new location.
Excuse me, officer. Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
An excellent question, monsieur.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
Need to get into that drain where the cloud is.
Hey, you with the balls. How did you learn to be a juggler?
Juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
No, I am a jongleur.
A jongler? What's that?
Mon Dieu! A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contragravitique aeroballetic mysteries. In centuries past, the courts of the crowned heads of Europe had the jongleurs, witty, erudite men to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Wait a minute, wait. Let me get this straight. Our enemies are at the borders, plague ravages the land, and the peasants are revolting. Thank God we've got Chuckles the Jongler to throw his balls around. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to steal that line as well.
Juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Be my guest.
I had no idea what I was doing. But this guy was obviously an idiot, so how difficult could it be? A lot more difficult than I thought. That's how difficult. Still, it was my big chance to be derided by complete strangers.
Not so easy after all, is it?
No, I guess not.
No, royalty. Because, well, last time, though, we saved it for the raid, didn't we? When we went to Mr. Weeble's stream.
Hello again.
Hello again, monsieur.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Ah, you are a clown.
Do I look like a clown?
Yes.
No, although you juggle like one. Now, if I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing, and not a humiliation for you.
What do you mean?
Whoever heard of a plainclothes clown?
He had a point. So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur, you have it.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they teach in the police academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
So now we'll do some more juggling.
Oui? What is it this time?
I'd like to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, perhaps?
No, I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing your humiliation, monsieur.
Yeah, routine. There's just so many lines.
Okay,
that we have
now for my secret weapon.
that we need to add to our vocabulary. All the phrases we need to try and get squeezed into conversations.
The juggler was speechless with rage. You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls and left in a fury. Hey! You forgot one of your balls! Hey! But he didn't hear. Better still, deprived of his entertainment, the gendarme decided maybe he ought to do some policing for a change. I couldn't open it with my bare hands.
We still have... Yeah, we still got that tool, haven't we? Let's jump into the sewers.
The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. It was time for some brutal destruction. Hey, that's hollow! I'd poked a hole in an historical site. If any archaeologists came by, they'd lynch me for this. There was some sort of mechanism hidden inside the wall, with a lever in the middle of it. Here goes. The secret door had jammed. I couldn't get through that gap.
How much chain does it need? It's only about 2 meters. I love the way the stonework flexed there.
At the bottom of the steps, I could see a glow. I could hear voices from the lit area. It seemed a good moment to be cautious.
If I remember right, there's like a large cutscene with loads of dialogue in. So we'll watch this long bit, and then that'll probably be a good time to wrap it up for today.
In the beginning was the end.
An end wrought by our enemies began our darkness.
In the end will be a beginning.
An end to our enemies heralds our new day.
Report. The military establishments are in flux. The end of the Cold War has left them with no clear goal and as obvious targets for budgetary cuts. We have successfully promoted a sense of betrayal in the upper echelons. They feel that the politicians have cast them adrift. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Good. Mademoiselle?
Governments are giving the corporations more respect than their own citizens. A groundswell of dissatisfaction and dissidence is growing. The corporations are becoming too large and complex for their own executives to control them. A blind belief in market forces is accelerating this trend the world over. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
The global population's belief in those that govern it has never been lower. We have inculcated a sense of immediacy and action over forethought and planning in all the major governments. They are acting on hasty decisions that cannot be completed or revoked without appearing foolish. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Excellent. The tired old governments are dying a slow death from their own incompetence and our machinations. Professor, where is the broken sword?
As we discussed last time, with the loss of the manuscript, our search is as a corollary hindered.
And as discussed last time, you have been furnished with a dramatically increased budget. What have you been doing with our money, Professor?
We are working on the principle that the Templars, that is to say, our predecessors,
Hold on. These are the Templars?
must have left a trail when they were hiding the clues to the sword of Baphomet's location. I have a small army of historians and archaeologists ferreting out that trail.
I trust these historians and archaeologists are more trustworthy than your friend Pegram.
Pegram was loyal. He tried to protect the Lochmarn gem when the Hashashin came near.
And failed. And don't call that Syrian maniac the Hashashin. He's an assassin. Plain and simple.
That's not what he believes. He actually thinks.
Silence! Do I have to remind you that we have a sacred duty? A trust? When Philippe attempted to destroy the Order, we lost the sword and our power with it. Now we have the opportunity to reforge it. But time is short. We need results, not petty bickering, not excuses. Now, Professor Baphomet.
Yes, of course. My apologies. We will find Baphomet and the sword, manuscript or no. We have already found another element actually within Paris.
Excellent. What is it?
Well, We're not exactly sure at present. Ha! But I have my best people working on it. You would do well not to criticize others, Eklund. At least I have not murdered one of our own.
Of course. That guy was the bogus doctor in the hospital.
Marquet was a liability. Eklund dealt with him on my orders.
I beg your pardon, Grandmaster. I did not mean to.
Have you any good news for us, Professor?
We already know 3 of the elements. We know that Klausner had obtained the lens before he vanished.
Where was he?
Syria. We know that he arrived, but after that, nothing.
The assassin.
I fear so. It's a shame. Klausner was a good operative.
This will be our last meeting in person until we locate the sword of Baphomet. I hope that I don't need to emphasize the importance of finding it. Without it, our endeavors come to nothing. With the sword reforged, we will have the power to sweep the stage of all opposition the next time that we meet. It will be to become the princess of this world!
Wow!
They all sailed off in a dinghy.
The tripod's feet fitted neatly into the notches on the top of the stump.
Where's the gem? There it is.
The light, falling from above, struck the gem and scattered in 5 neat rays. And each ray picked out a letter. Starting from the left, I could read M-A-R-I-B. Marib. Now all I had to do was figure out what the heck that meant.
That was the bit that was like in Indiana Jones.
I've seen them.
Who?
The Templars. I spied on their meeting in the catacombs.
And you saw the Knights Templar?
I saw a bunch of guys masquerading as Templars. They're after something called the Sword of Baphomet. The bogus doctor was there, the guy who killed Marquet. The manuscript is the key, just as we thought. It shows the way to the broken sword, whatever that is.
And how does the assassin fit into all these?
He's out to stop them. These Neo-Templars, they're men and women in influential positions. Don't you see? Plantar was one of them. The assassin killed him for the manuscript, to stop them finding the sword.
But now we have got the manuscript.
Yes.
So, how do they hope to find the sword?
I don't know. They said something about a lens and a guy called Klausner who's gone to Syria, but they didn't seem to realize the significance of the very site of their meeting. You see, after they'd gone, I discovered a stone pedestal and a carved inscription. I set up the gem on the tripod, directly below a beam of light. The gem split the beam and lit the letters M-A-R-I-B.
Marib is a village in Syria.
Then the Neo-Templars are ahead of us. Klausner beat me to it.
You're not thinking of going there yourself, are you?
Why not?
These guys are crazy and dangerous. That reminds me, you should leave the gem here.
Okay, what about the tripod?
I'll send it back to Andre, anonymously.
Do you think I should go to Marib?
Syria is a long way, Georges.
There we go. That's where we will leave it today, because we're going to Syria, but I just need to get into a place where I can save it before we go any further. So there we go. Hopefully that's saved. So yeah, so next week we will start off in Syria. I'm trying to remember as well where it actually all ends, the game. Like I've said before, I haven't played this since the 90s on my original PlayStation. And of course, I don't know all the director's cut bits that I keep popping up as well. So yeah, we'll come back to this one next week, and we'll see what let's see how far we can get through it then. I said, I'm gonna keep going there. The mouse just keeps on going funny. Yeah. I hope my computer's not busted. I'm gonna have to do some diagnostics when we finish here because it just keeps on going all weird. From your guys' end, has the character movement been all right, or has it been choppy? Like when he's been moving on the screen there, because it's something that's definitely going weird with my machine today. But what I'll do is I'll press your favourite button, Royalty, and then we'll hop over into Twitch to see if there's anyone to raid so you can get your bonus points. So we have a selection of 4 tonight. We've got Anita, Cub Fan, Angry Joe, or Mr. Weeble. Who yeah, I can get my words out tonight. Seems like everything's broken down. The computer's not playing. It's all about my voice isn't going. What's that, Chrissy? Are you getting told off and sent to bed again, Chrissy? To your room with no supper. But you just want to go Cub Fan? Yep, we can go Cub Fan. So what day is it today? It's Monday. So tomorrow we're going to be working on. Tomorrow we're going to set up that string farm next to the skeleton farm that we did on the server. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow night, setting up the farm there. I'll hop on the server now, and I'll go take some measurements and see what equipment I need. Spider spawners, cave spider spawners, are far easy. No, I didn't. That's a thing. Royalty. Up at your base, there is there's a right sort of next to one another. There's a skeleton spawner and a spider spawner, and then like a couple of 100 blocks away from that, there's a double skeleton spawner. It was just in case did you want those like set up? Because I can gather the resources and start putting that together if you want those farms done for you. It's sort of like just northeast of where you've set your house up, not too far away. Right, where's the buttons? Anyway, we'll go into Cub Fans. So have a good night, everyone. Of course, I would normally say try to behave at work, but you know, of course, where's the fun in that? So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all next time. Ooh. What's that? Oh, the the main sort of supply of like what I haven't got is just glass. Really, I should have enough wood and signs left over to make the farms. It's just you don't even need the glass. I just like to build it with glass. But everything else I've got in stock, across all like the mess of chests that I've got. But I can if that glass is still in the chest at your place, inside of the skeleton farm, I'll swipe that when I come up to measure. Well, I'm going to go on now to measure it for the spider spawner, and I'll swipe a couple of stacks of that glass and put it in a shulker box ready to take up to Royalty's base. That's the plan anyway. So I'll hop on there now, and I'll gather up all the bits and bobs for that, and we'll sort that out tomorrow. So have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you for joining me today. If you are enjoying our journey and would like to see more, then please rate, comment, favourite and subscribe in whichever manner your chosen platform allows. If you are joining us on Twitch, Mixer or YouTube, where we have loads more for you to watch, from our live streams to all our episodes across our various series. You can also drop by and say hi over on Discord, where we chat about everything from Minecraft to books and movies to tabletop games. But most importantly, thank you very much for watching and have a lovely day.